What's going on, everybody? I wanted to talk about, in this video, chemtrails and things I like about that. More so giving you notifications and just spreading awareness, because that's what I do. Sorry for the messed up hair. It always kind of sticks up like that. Subscribe to the channel. And what the chemtrails are, see, they always try to mix up things, and they're also called contrails, basically. That's what, basically, engine exhaust, the jet fuel that comes out, the exhaust system. But it's different from the stuff that they spray, because they actually spray stuff in the sky, if you don't know this. And I don't know how long this has been going on for in today's world, but it's been going on since probably like 1940s, probably, I would imagine, right around there. I will link a video in the description box below about evidence of this, and you can see pilots, biologists, and many other lawyers too. They're all speaking out of this at a conference in California, a county over there. I forget the name of it, but I'll link the video down there. I usually don't do that stuff, but this one, I just thought I'd put it there. But I already knew about this, and it's super easy. All you have to do is look up into the sky. Now, granted that this the coronavirus going on and stuff, they have been emitting less of it in the skies, but usually there's sorry, I slept a lot today too, so I might look a little tired. But they've been throwing this in the sky for, a long time, and no one looks up to the sky anymore, because I've mentioned this to multiple people years before this, about like at least 5 to 6 years ago when I first found out about it. And no one looks at the sky anymore, and the sky is like one of the most beautiful natural things, especially, during the day, but even at nighttime. And coincidentally enough, they do it the times they spray the most spray. What's in the spray is aluminum and heavy metals and toxins, and this makes you very sick. They go into your brain and give you all types of diseases, neurological disorders, and many more things. Alzheimer's, which is just, again, heavy metals in the body, anything that's related to heavy metals. And but it's everywhere. It's not just in the air we're breathing, which is, air might be the most precious thing, but it's also in the water. It's ruining the plants, it's ruining the biology, and it's just killing ecosystems, basically, and tainting everything from all, animals of life, insects, to all the way up to like full-bred mammals. And this is, pretty awful. They've been doing this for a long time, and the people to look at is the military industrial complex. They're the ones who they're the ones behind it. They're the ones where all our money is invested in, and that take all the money. And it's awful. They pretty much, because America is basically a corporation, and it's ran by the industrial military complex. However, the words, they're just a bunch of nonsense words put together. They spray this stuff in the sky all the time, and people used to call me crazy, or they didn't want to believe me, or they're just like real suspicious of me saying this. Meanwhile, none of these people question, because I've seen clouds throughout my life, especially when I was younger. We've all seen clouds, and we were actually taught about clouds probably when we were in school. But I started noticing different clouds, stuff that didn't look like clouds, and people just say it's just jet engine fuel from the exhaust, and that dissipates within seconds. unless they're actually making stuff in the sky, like, you know, a jet, and they're making clouds in the sky, like letters and stuff like that. But they don't do that anymore, and even that's probably real toxic. Even the jet engine itself, if it's whatever it's burning on, unless it's like a natural resource, like probably it would be electricity, which they're not built on electricity. It's toxic anyway. But they're spraying stuff basically to kill you. And they do this every day. They've been doing this for, I would say, about 100 years, maybe a little less than 100 years. You know, heavy metals, they're all in there. They're so small, nanoparticles, they're all over the place. And it's all in our systems. You know, you get respiratory diseases, neurological stuff. It doesn't stop. It really doesn't stop. It's just a bunch of diseases that are basically the same thing. And that's messing you up and killing you. And that's just pretty much awful. So I wanted to raise some awareness. You can find some stuff online about this. Definitely, but it's more so a cover-up. They already know about it. It's employed, just like the fluoride in the water. Same thing. Other things along these lines is there's so many things like that this does. The list is probably unstoppable. It probably never ends. And big famous people can't really talk about it because it's going to ruin their career. They can't jeopardize their career. So anybody that's real famous can't talk about it. They can't. They just can't. Anybody who's famous, that's why you don't hear celebrities talk about pedophiles. You never really do, because either A, they're in on it, or they can't talk about it. It's one or the other. There's nothing in between. Especially famous people, you know, gurus, leaders, whoever it is, very few talk about it. And if they do talk about it, then they get censored about it. And it's hard for them to find that information. YouTube, all the conglomerates are all in on it. YouTube, Facebook, any social media that's really big. The whole internet basically was a military thing and was only supposed to be used by the military. If you don't know that, well, of course that's not how it is and how it is nowadays. It was in the military way before it was released to the masses, just like everything else. Anywho, we're going back to talk about these chemicals. They're also spraying chemicals in the air. It's killing the plants it's killing the animals. It's ruining insects, mammals, the environment, the water, the air we breathe. And most importantly, it's ruining our bodies. It's all in a system. And it's ruining us. And they keep doing it every day. If you look up in the sky like any normal person would, you would see this. But most people don't even look up to the sky anymore and look at clouds. And I'm being so serious about this. It happens all the time, pretty much every day. They've stopped it, that I noticed more so recently, but it's been going on forever. It's the most time that they do it at is during the night. They actually do it more at night. And they do it more in cold seasons, I noticed. Cold seasons. So like winter. Winter is going to be a time, sorry for the light, I guess maybe we'll walk backwards. But they do it on the cold seasons, basically. And winter nights, cold seasons, and at night. So yeah, we said all those things. That might be another reason why you haven't noticed this. But they do it all the time. Literally all the time. People used to call me crazy. I'm crazy for looking at the sky and seeing clouds that don't look right. Zigzags and these clouds that are dissipating but looking like a never-ending fog. If you wake up in the morning sometimes, and I've seen it before, wake up early in the morning and you go in places like over rivers or open valleys, you'll really see all the smog, which we can call it smog, all from the industry again. You know, the cars are industry too, which they made, but we're not going to get into that. And it's all in the air. It's like, because I remember I used to go to this, I had to go to this masonry class, and I would go in the morning and I would just see how unnatural it is. You know when something's natural and when something's not natural. You have a feeling, and then you start to question it. You just do. It's not, it's intuition, you know, you call it your third eye, your sixth sense, your gut feeling, whatever. It's pretty much all the same damn thing all the time. People just like to say a bunch of different words for the same thing. It's kind of manipulative and weird. Also, that's pretty much all I have to say about all these damaging chemicals from the sky. I will also say they also can control the weather. There's no sense of watching the Weather Channel. Why don't you go outside and predict the weather for yourself instead of watching all that BS on the news? That's all a bunch of BS. 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. So why are you going to watch them anyway? Why don't you go outside and make your own distinction, your own evaluation of what the weather is going to be like? We are all meteorologists. Furthermore, we don't need no fancy equipment. Your body is in tune with that. No piece of computer equipment, no technology will be more innovative than the body itself, because the body itself is connected and intertwined with nature and divine. We are God's creation. God is a part of us, and it's right there. It's plain and simple. No one can tell you it's otherwise. And they do things such as make us wear clothes all the time, have shoes on our feet. We'd be more connected to the ground. They made a thing called grounding. Well, it's whatever you want to call it. But we naturally don't like wearing shoes. I don't like wearing any clothes. If you want to cover up some clothes to cover up my genitals and my ass crack, that's fine. I don't like wearing clothes. Now, there are certain seasons where you do want to wear some clothes, such as real cold winters or in super hot situations, such as in your desert. Now, I'm never in a desert, but I know they don't go naked because it will burn them, and they wear usually white clothes all around their body to cover that up. Why I'm saying this is because they can control the weather. The Dust Bowl that you heard about in Texas and the 4 corners of the states, that was man-made. A lot of tornadoes, typhoons, cyclones, tsunamis, they can make these things. Do not be fooled. They can do this. They can start fires. And that's another thing that I learned from the video that I'll have in the link below. The aluminum in the ground sparks off more fires. So you wonder about them fires in California. Fires don't naturally happen like that. They usually happen because they create those fires. And there's information on this too about all those California fires. How come no one's talking about them, which it was happening at the beginning of 2020, I think around January, and no one's talking about them anymore. It's like one thing comes up, it's a disaster, and another thing comes up, and we just forget about the last thing. Hurricane Katrina. These things are all really, there is some natural things, but most of them are not. Most of them are planned and pre-made. There's a thing called the HAARP machine. The HAARP machine is it's an acronym, but this is how they control the weather. It's patented. It's a patent. They have multiple patents on the weather. They can control the weather. They've been controlling the weather for a very long time. Very long time. They can make it rain. Yes, they can make it rain, believe it or not. It's not a joke. They can make it rain. All these people, I meet a lot of people, and they don't, especially before when I was younger, and not too much younger, but years ago, I knew about this, 5 or 6 years ago. And when I talked to people, they didn't want to believe it at all. They might call you crazy, or they just weren't open to the idea. But it's very real, and they've been doing this for like a super long time. They can make it snow, make it hail. That's why when you see some of that snow and stuff, it doesn't look real. Climate change is basically a fraudulent procedure. Now, they're the ones ruining the climate anyway. That's the whole thing. They are geoengineering the skies and the weather. HAARP, I think it's called what I was just talking about a second ago, is the machine they use to manipulate the weather. They have patents on it, and then there's a bunch of machines too. It's probably not just one. I don't remember all of them, but it's HAARP, just like how it sounds. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, it's 2 A's. HAARP, and they can control the weather. They've even came out and even said this, but no one's done anything about it. I mean, people have done about it, but like nothing. No one's really reversed this issue and done anything like absolutely substantial about it. Now, I don't want to take it to the degree as people haven't done anything about it, but it's still going on, is what I'm saying. It's been going on for a long time. They're trying to do a lot more than we can even fathom, but more so, they're probably trying to destroy our food supply, which is known and given, and they're trying to control us, and they're trying to make us sick and dumbed down and retarded. A lot of these diseases, ADHD or ADD, there's so many things. All these neurological disorders, cancers, none of these things were around not so long ago. It's because they brought all the stuff in and they want us to be sick. So it's like a cycle. So we keep going to them. If someone's healthy, there's no money to make off of them. If someone's sick, that's all the money. The only wealth that you actually have is your health, because if you're not healthy, then you're not going to be doing anything. You're not going to be thinking straight. You're not going to even have ability to think. And you're definitely not going to feel good. And they want to ruin that and take that away from you. So that's why I'm coming out to raise awareness and say about this. And it's definitely known. It's definitely out there. This is not something, some people think like people would make this up. Why would anyone make this up? This is I can't even fathom to make that up. Anywho, just look up to the sky, depending on where you're at, and watch the clouds. You know what clouds are real and which ones are fake. They usually look grayish, wimpy, not real, and yeah, just listen to your intuition. You could find so much stuff on the internet now. That's the whole point of the internet now, is basically the spread of information and the war on info, or whatever you want to call it, the unveiling, the age of information. What's the other word they were using? Where people rise up. Revelations. That's not it though either. What was the last one? We're gonna get to it. Revelations. The unveiling. Oh, the awakening. That's what the internet basically is, the spread of knowledge. People waking up and seeing it or believing it. Because people are so closed off. I can tell basically who's closed off and not. It's super easy to tell. It doesn't take that. And it's nothing logical. It has nothing to do with intellect. Very few things have to do with intellect. But people want to succumb to science and intellect. That's because that's what they want you to believe in and how we're programmed. It has nothing really to do with it. That's why people who know the land, the environment knows when it's going to rain, and animals know when it's going to rain before it rains. And there's ways to tell. The trees will kind of go down in a drooplet way. They'll droop down because they know it's going to rain, so that the excess water can run off the leaves. There's other ways to do this too. You'll be able to smell real rain for sure. And then there's just your senses that are going to tell you it's there. But when you have clothes on all the time and you're not in nature, and then there's frequencies such as Wi-Fi and towers and stuff being emitted that can throw off your electromagnetivity. I think that's the word. And we're not taught about this, for one. We're not really in nature all the time at all. We're far from it. And yeah, people also poison and sick and oblivious to this. So that's all I have to say for the video. Thanks for tuning in. It was longer, but wealth of information in here. Thanks. Have a nice day. Subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Even sharing the video or something, or giving it a like. That's fine too. Thanks for tuning in.